Ever walked into a store feeling an empty ache and left with a brand new gadget you'll never master? A pair of shoes that will gather dust? Or a kitchen gizmo you'll only use once? That sudden rush, that whisper in your ear that says you need this now, is not a random whim. It's a hidden conversation between your brain, the world around you, and the endless stream of signals that tell you what you should want. Our brains are wired for survival, not for shopping. Thousands of years ago, gathering food or tools meant the difference between life and death. The moment you secured something valuable, a cascade of chemicals flooded your nervous system, rewarding you with a sense of safety. Fast forward to today, and that ancient reward system still fires when you click Add to Cart, even if the item is a decorative lamp you'll never turn on. The purchase itself becomes a shortcut to comfort, a quick fix for the stress that builds up after a long day. You may not even realize it, but the dopamine surge you feel is less about the product and more about the temporary relief from anxiety.
Imagine a stressful morning at work. Your inbox is overflowing, deadlines loom, and the tension is rising. You see an online ad for a sleek smartwatch promising to organize your life. You click, you buy, and for a brief moment, the worry eases. The product is just a vessel for that relief, a way for your brain to say, I've taken action, I'm in control. The actual usefulness of the watch often becomes secondary to the feeling of having done something productive.
But comfort isn't the only driver. Humans are social creatures, constantly comparing themselves to those around them. In the age of social media, the comparison game has been amplified to a global stage. When influencers unbox the latest phone, when a friend posts a photo with a designer bag, a subtle pressure builds. If they have it, perhaps I should too. This isn't just about envy, it's about signaling. Possessions become symbols that say, I belong, I'm successful, I matter. The brain lights up when we think we're improving our status, even if the item itself serves no practical purpose. Think about the last time you bought something just to impress someone else. Maybe it was a high-end coffee maker because a colleague bragged about theirs, or a limited edition sneaker because a friend wore them to a party. The purchase isn't for the functional benefit, it's for the social validation, the applause you imagine will follow. That fleeting boost in self-esteem is real, but it's also fleeting, leaving you craving the next symbol to maintain that feeling. Now add the clever tricks marketers use to hijack these brain pathways. Scarcity, discounts, countdown timers, they're not just sales tactics, they're psychological levers. When you see only a few left or a timer ticking down, your brain interprets it as a loss threat. The fear of missing out spikes cortisol, and the same stress that makes you anxious also pushes you toward a quick decision to avoid regret. The discount itself isn't the main attraction. It's the promise of avoiding loss and gaining a deal that feels like a win.
Retail environments are designed to keep you moving, to expose you to more triggers. Bright lights, soft music, pleasant scents, all create a backdrop that lowers your guard. Each product placed at eye level, each buy one, get one free sign nudges you deeper into the purchasing loop. You might think you're choosing deliberately, but the environment is subtly shaping each choice, turning a simple need into an impulse. Every time you complete a purchase, your brain rewards you with a small burst of dopamine, reinforcing the behavior. This reward loop is powerful because it's immediate. The long-term consequences, clutter, debt, regret, are far in the future, while the feel-good moment is right now. Over time, the brain learns to associate buying with pleasure, making it a habit that can be hard to break.
So, why do we keep buying things we don't need? Because our brains seek comfort, because we crave social approval, and because marketers have mastered the art of triggering our reward systems. The next time you feel that pull toward a shiny new object, pause and ask yourself, am I looking for relief, status, Or am I simply reacting to a cleverly placed cue?
What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences with impulse buying and how you've tackled it. If this insight is opening your eyes to the hidden forces behind your spending, hit that subscribe button and join me as we keep exploring the mind's mysteries together. Imagine you walk into a store and feel that familiar flutter in your chest, the subtle whisper that says, "This could be yours." You might already know the feeling, but what if you could turn that whisper into a calm, rational voice? Let's explore some practical ways to rewrite the script your brain is playing on repeat.
First, try the simple pause technique. When you notice that tug, give yourself a moment. No, not just a few seconds, but a genuine, intentional breath. Count to 3 in your head, then count to 3 again, and only then let the thought linger. That brief interval is enough for the initial surge of dopamine to settle, allowing the rational part of your mind to surface. In that space, you can ask yourself 3 honest questions. Do I really need this? Will this solve a problem I currently have? And what will happen if I let it pass? Most of the time, the answer is a quiet no, and the impulse loses its power. Another powerful tool is the future self exercise. Picture yourself a year from now, standing in a room filled with everything you bought on a whim. How does that space look? Does it feel comfortable, or does it feel cluttered and heavy? Visualizing the long-term consequences makes the short-term reward feel less alluring. Some people even write a short note to their future self describing the feeling of regret they want to avoid and keep that note in their wallet. When the next flash sale flashes on the screen, that note can act as a gentle reminder of the bigger picture. Budgeting doesn't have to be a rigid spreadsheet. It can be a flexible, conscious habit. One method is to allocate a specific amount of money each month for fun purchases. Treat that amount as a sacred envelope you can open only once you've truly considered each item. When the envelope is empty, you've reached your limit, and the next tempting offer will naturally feel out of reach. This isn't about restricting joy, but about giving yourself permission to enjoy without the lingering guilt that follows an unchecked spree. Environment plays a huge role too. If you know that certain aisles or online sections trigger you, redesign your surroundings. In a physical store, walk straight to the items you need, bypassing the decorative displays that are meant to catch your eye. In a digital world, install browser extensions that hide price tags or block pop-up ads, or simply log out of your favorite shopping apps for a few days. Creating friction where there used to be ease can be enough to break the automatic loop. Mindfulness meditation is another ally. Regular practice trains the brain to notice thoughts without automatically reacting to them. When you sit quietly and observe the rise of desire, you learn that cravings are like clouds passing across the sky, noticeable but not permanent. Over time, the urge to buy becomes just another passing thought, no longer a command that needs to be obeyed. Let's not forget the power of social accountability. Share your goals with a trusted friend or join an online community focused on intentional spending. When you announce that you're avoiding a particular brand or resisting a specific sale, you create a subtle social contract. The desire to stay consistent with that promise can be stronger than the lure of a discount. If you ever slip, the community can offer support rather than judgment, helping you get back on track. A technique often used by professional athletes is called mental rehearsal. Before you head to a mall or click on a shopping site, close your eyes and mentally walk through the experience. Imagine the bright lights, the catchy music, the persuasive slogans, and then picture yourself walking away, feeling calm and in control. By rehearsing the scenario in a safe mental space, you reduce the shock of the real environment and keep your decision-making muscles flexed. Now, consider the role of gratitude. When you regularly acknowledge what you already have, the sense of scarcity fades. Keep a simple gratitude journal where you list 3 things you appreciate each day. Perhaps a comfortable chair, a favorite book, a supportive friend. Over time, those entries remind you that fulfillment often comes from relationships and experiences, not from material additions. The more you value what you already own, the less you'll chase after the next shiny object.
You might wonder how to handle the inevitable moments when a genuine need does arise. That's perfectly fine. Our brains evolved to respond to real necessities, and recognizing the difference between a need and a want is a skill worth refining. When a legitimate need appears, apply the same pause and reflection, but allow yourself a bit more flexibility. A practical approach is to ask, is this the best solution for the problem at hand, or am I reaching for convenience? Sometimes the answer is a simple, affordable fix that doesn't require a brand new gadget.
It's also helpful to set clear priorities for the year. Write down the top 3 experiences or achievements you want to pursue. Maybe learning a new language, traveling to a specific place, or building a side project. When you have those priorities in front of you, every spending decision can be measured against them. If a purchase doesn't directly support one of those goals, it likely belongs in the maybe later pile. Let's talk about the emotional side of this journey. It's natural to feel a little disappointment when you walk away from a tempting offer. That feeling is a signal, not a failure. Acknowledge it, give it space, and then redirect that energy towards something that truly nurtures you. A walk in nature, a conversation with a friend, or a creative hobby. Over time, you'll notice that the satisfaction derived from those non-material activities outweighs the fleeting thrill of a new purchase.
You may also find it useful to practice the one-in, one-out rule for items that truly belong in your home. For every new piece you bring in, commit to removing an older one. This not only keeps your space from becoming overloaded, but it also forces you to evaluate the true value of each item. When you realize that some things can be let go without regret, the fear of losing something valuable diminishes. Finally, remember that change is a gradual process. You won't become immune to every impulse overnight, and that's okay. Celebrate the small victories. Maybe you resisted a limited time offer last week, or you successfully delayed a purchase by 24 hours. Each win reinforces the neural pathways that favor thoughtful decision-making over reflexive buying. What strategies have you tried to curb unnecessary spending? Have you found a particular habit that makes a noticeable difference in your life? Share your experiences in the comments below. Hearing different perspectives can spark new ideas for all of us. If any of these insights resonated with you, consider giving this video a thumbs up. Your feedback helps us know what topics matter most, and it encourages the channel to keep delivering content that helps you understand the hidden mechanics of the mind. And if you haven't already, tap the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss future deep dives into psychology, behavior, and practical ways to live a more intentional life. There's a whole world of fascinating research waiting to be explored. How habits form, how emotions shape our choices, and how we can harness that knowledge to design a life that feels both free and fulfilling. Stay curious, stay mindful, and remember that every time you pause before a purchase, you're training your brain to serve you, not the other way around. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. And as you keep experimenting with these tiny adjustments, you'll notice how the narrative in your mind begins to shift. Instead of hearing a frantic voice that says, "Buy now, it's a limited time deal," you'll hear a calmer inner guide asking, "Do I really need this, or am I just chasing a fleeting feeling?"
That subtle change is the real power behind breaking the cycle of impulse purchasing.
Think about the moments when you walk past a glossy storefront or scroll through a feed full of dazzling offers. The next time you feel that tug, try the pause and reflect technique. Take a breath, name the emotion you're feeling, whether it's excitement, anxiety, or a desire for social approval. Then ask yourself whether the item you're eyeing truly satisfies that feeling. Often, you'll discover that the answer is no, and the urge will lose its grip. Another useful habit is to set a cool-off window for any non-essential purchase. Write down the item you're considering, put the note somewhere you'll see it later, and give yourself at least a day to think it over. You'll be surprised how many of those cravings fade once the initial spark subsides. If, after the waiting period, the desire is still strong, you can reassess with a clearer mind and decide if it genuinely adds value to your life. It's also worth exploring the role of gratitude in curbing unnecessary consumption. When you regularly acknowledge the things you already own and the experiences that have enriched you, the need to fill a perceived void with new stuff diminishes. A simple nightly ritual of listing 3 things you're grateful for can reinforce contentment and reduce the impulse to seek satisfaction through material acquisition.
Remember, the goal isn't to become a hermit who never buys anything enjoyable. It's about reclaiming agency over your choices so that each purchase reflects a true intention rather than a subconscious trigger. By aligning your spending with your deeper values, whether that's creativity, health, learning, or connection, you turn money into a tool that supports the life you want instead of a leash that pulls you toward endless consumption.
So, what's the next step you'll take? Will you try the cool-off window for that tempting gadget, or perhaps start a gratitude journal tonight? Let us know in the comments. Hearing how you apply these ideas fuels the community and sparks fresh perspectives for everyone watching. If this discussion sparked a new insight, a quick thumbs up would mean a lot. It tells the algorithm that this kind of content matters to you. And if you feel there's more to explore together, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you won't miss the upcoming deep dives into the psychology of habits, motivation, and purposeful living. Your engagement helps shape the channel's direction, and I'm excited to keep learning alongside you. Until our next conversation, keep questioning those urges, cherish the things that truly matter, and remember that every mindful pause is a step toward a freer, more intentional you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.